You're listening to the Buns.com podcast network.
Buns, buns, buns.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Pixels and Ink Podcast, episode 262, brought to you by CG Magazine. I'm your host, Lisa Mior, and joining us today are Brendan Fry.
Hello there.
Brandon Quinn.
Hello, everybody.
And Phil Brown.
Yay!
Hey! Is everyone doing okay after the long weekend?
Yep.
Yeah?
I'm sleepy.
Yeah, I know. We took a little break last week.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not waste any more time. Let's get back into some news. So, Quinn, what have you got for us today?
There has been another No Man's Sky update after a fun little alternate reality game. It's called Atlas Rises, focuses on improving the story, and adds the ability to quick travel between locations using portals. I'm not really sure who's this is for or who's still playing the game.
Yeah.
Other than perhaps Jordan Biordi. But, I mean, good for them, for Hello Studios, like actually...
Hello Games.
Hello Games, my
Yeah.
bad. Like keeping up on their promise to update continuously despite the disastrous launch.
Yeah, because they've, despite the fact that they did not deliver on the initial promises, some of the updates are starting to add a little bit of the stuff in. Like this is the third update so far.
Yeah, this
Third
is
big one.
Yeah, third big one. I saw it was a list of all the promises they broke 1 year ago. Update. I'm just wondering how they're doing financially. I mean, I understand that they have to do it for free because nobody wants to pay for it. But like, what's the point otherwise? Then I mean reputation's tarnished.
But I mean, the game did sell well when it first launched. Even though
for that first week.
Yeah, well, the first month or so, it did actually sell okay. My understanding, it was one of the fastest selling games for that little time period.
Oh, I'm sure everybody, like I was pretty hyped on it. I think everybody...
I think it was a few million sold, and with a small studio that sold it at full price retail, and they only had like a 5-6-person team. Well, I guess 15 near the end of launch.
Just saying their coffers are pretty full from that they can sort of afford to do
well,
this.
if they're only having studio costs are based on how many people are in the studio.
Yeah.
If you have a 500-person studio, you're paying each one a salary of, let's say, $50,000-$60,000 a year.
Yeah.
You go through money quickly. If you're paying 15 people $50,000-$60,000 a year, it takes you a while to go through a few $1 million.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on what their publishing deal was with Sony and how much Sony took out of it. There's a lot of factors, but I don't think after the first initial sales, they were hurting for cash.
No, that's true.
They might have had a horrible reputation afterwards, but they were not personally hurting for cash. They had enough coffers they could last for a while.
Well, I mean, that's good because, this is the third kind of big free update that they've released since the game came out.
In all reality, they should have taken an extra year and actually got the game up.
Well, that's why a lot of people are saying that, it's still in early access, kind of like that's
it
how
kind
it
of
feels.
It kind of does feel,
it's getting patches and updates, but why didn't they just wait and release it all at once?
Yeah, I mean, some of those updates, like they added these, you can buy the capital ship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They made it so you can build bases and stuff like that. They added more resources, I believe, was another thing they added.
And there's ground vehicles. Yeah. They made a PS4 Pro patch as well.
Finally.
And this update, they're including portals, so for fast travel, because it was so cumbersome flying on that originally.
There was people who were defending it were like, no, it's very relaxing. You know, I kind of go zen. I'm like, no, man.
It was a screensaver. It
is. Yeah, it is. It was super boring.
I played about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours when it first came out. And like an hour and a half of that was just going from one planet to another.
Yeah.
It was just, So this will be good. That'll be, well, salvaging it a little bit.
And again, I respect them for doing what they can.
Yeah, I agree. I think if they manage to keep this up, the game will have a good long tail to the thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're ever going to see another rush of people buying it.
Oh, no way.
I think that they missed that window. The game might have kind of a cult classic status once it's all updated, kind of bring people back in. If they lower the price for like $20 and they keep one of these updates out, I'm sure that it'll keep growing people, but it's not going to grow the way.
Oh, no, not at all. I think they're more just worried that they want to save face for the next game they release because nobody is going to pre-order anything.
And I think make Sean Murray not the spokesman.
Yeah,
of the game.
absolutely.
I think he had a lot of good intentions, but I think a lot of that had to do with the fact he was excited and he wanted.
He was drinking his own
Yeah.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
He got super high on the idea before.
I mean, I totally get that. You're really excited about a project. You've put so much time into it. People have been hyping it up around you. You can't help but develop that mentality after a while. So
Just don't outright lie about
Just
things.
don't.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he probably thought, oh yeah, we can add that to the game. That's something we can totally do. Yeah, that shouldn't be hard. And then he gets
That's the
back to the
actual-
office, and they're like, no, we're not
That
doing
We can't do it, man.
that's
we
not
can't do it.
and for especially for like I don't know how this is not his first game, correct? Right?
No, he did. The Hello Games have done a few things. They
Yeah.
did like the Joe Danger series.
Okay.
They were like this little like kind of like Trials, but a little bit more silly-ish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
And I don't know what else they've done. One other thing I think, but the Joe Danger series is what they're kind of known for.
Yeah.
And my point being, like, I've heard a lot of like first-time developers talk a lot like that when you first talk to them, and
Yeah.
then you come back to them like, I don't know, 6 months later into the project, and they're saying a completely different story. So I get it if you're like a first-timer, but
But I mean, like, this is not new for games.
Yeah,
development. Like Peter Molyneux that's what
Oh,
he's
he's
known
the
for.
king of it,
Yeah.
man. He
Like,
invented
he like
that.
yeah, it's totally gonna do all this stuff. You
This
get
is
the-
going to revolutionize video games. Nothing's ever been like this before.
And then you get in the game like, no, it's a good game, but not anything what you promised.
Yeah.
yeah. So some big things happened to HBO this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wanna tell us a little bit about that one? Yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever's gonna talk about it.
Okay.
One of you slide to talk about it.
So, if you don't know, and I'm sure everyone right now does, there's a big data leak at HBO. They got scripts. They got apparently some older episodes, which I don't know anyone cares about those things. Like those were on torrent sites way
Very much available.
So yeah, I don't know why that mattered. But they said they got that stuff. They got the scripts. So they got one of the. I know the big thing that people were kind of upset with was the fact, or people were most scandalized by, was the fact they had a script for an upcoming episode, and they just posted it online, so people could find the spoilers for a show that had not aired yet. Then they kept kind of saying they have more and more data, and the breach is far bigger than they ever realized, but they still haven't actually made good on those threats or actually kind of given any details about what they actually have.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of confused even more by the fact that an Indian TV station accidentally leaked the next episode, and people kind of attributed it to this first hack.
Yeah.
So it's a weird mess, but right now not much has really come out of it, other than HBO hiring a scrubbing agency to kind of scrub the net of anything, any trace of these like leaked scripts and leaked episodes. They at one point, I think they had Winters Here, something like that. It was a website, wintershere.something something. But they had some website where it was just like a site of all this data from these hacks.
Yeah.
At this point, I believe they've still said they have more data. They have not really given HBO any indication of how much they really have. And no one really knows if they do have more, it's a threat, or what this really means. But there's a lot of them hinting they have more, but they're not really giving any clues to anyone, really. And right now, it's still kind of just sitting in limbo, and people are kind of waiting to see if they'll dump a new episode online, or put another script out, or give details on things that you might not even realize, like what a new show from HBO, etc. So right now, it's all kind of sitting up in the air, and these hacker group that did get this breach are kind of just playing the waiting game, I guess.
Well, they're asking for money too.
Yeah, well,
They wanna-
as every hacker group
Yeah.
does, and then they're just going to dump it online anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it seems increasingly clear they don't really have what they say they have. But it's just bizarre that this has become a trend after what happened with Netflix last year and Orange Is the New Black. So,
And Sony too.
Oh yeah,
of
Sony
course,
hack.
of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, honestly, it's look at it this way: if you have a server that can be accessed from the outside world, where you just have this stuff sitting there, someone can get into it.
Yeah, it's gonna happen
Because there's always the systems might be the most secure things ever.
Yeah.
But if humans are involved, there's human error involved, and if someone's password is password 123, they're gonna find a way into this stuff.
Yeah.
So you just have to make sure that this is a growing pain for a lot of these companies, figuring out exactly what they can do, what they can't do, and actually really understanding how much they're exposing themselves. And I don't think a lot of these companies think that, oh, we just have a Dropbox with some passwords in that folder. So a hacker gets into that Dropbox and they get into the main secure server. And I think that's how the Sony hack happened through something like that.
Yeah.
And I know the Netflix hack happened through something similar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of this is just kind of really secure systems, but then one fall.
All it takes is one
yeah, exactly.
little mistake or crappy password, and the whole system's open.
Exactly.
So how much is this going to actually hurt HBO? Because when
Probably
it
not
happened,
at
when it happened to Netflix, they
the
have their
only thing
subscriptions already.
Only thing I'm thinking is, like, the episode isn't going to hurt them
No.
at all,
Yeah.
because people are still going to watch it. It's the most pirated show in the world, and it still, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
destroys ratings.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't matter. It's more, I think, if there's any, like, scandalous Sony-style emails, that might damage the company.
But, I mean...
scripts and stuff? Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like, those things leak online all the time. And usually not in giant dumps, but they leak all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's numerous leaks of movies, like Tarantino's The Hateful Eight script notoriously leaked online.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
forgot about that.
So, I mean, this stuff happens all the time, and it doesn't ever destroy a movie. Like, a script online just makes people... No one says, read the script, like, well, I'm done. I don't need to see the movie now. I know everything.
So few people are actually even going to read it in the first place.
Oh, scripts are boring to read.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize it, but they're not fun to read.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, stage directions. Oh, those are so sexy. Also, I think Tarantino changed the ending of that movie. He changed the ending for Hateful Eight a little bit.
Yeah, there was a rewrite, and they changed a bunch of different things. Yeah.
Like, he changed a few things. Like, you might have a script and you know the general concept, but it's not hard to do a rewrite. I mean, for Game of Thrones, that stuff has been filmed a long time ago.
Yeah.
But when a movie is not even made yet, they say, oh, the script leaked. Okay, the ending's now changed. We've changed, like, one or two more scenes. The movie's not the same thing anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it's devastating, but you're right, Brendan. If they do find, like, emails of scandalous things, or you find emails of executives at HBO being super racist or
that kind
homophobic,
of thing, yeah.
it could mean people are getting job
But
loss.
as you said earlier, like, you'd think they would have said that by now.
Oh, yeah.
If
Like-
they had anything heavy, they'd be threatening.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot more assuredly and mentioning it, and they don't seem like we have the script or we have the leaked, and that's it.
Yeah, and who cares?
Yeah, whatever, man. People are still gonna watch the show.
Yeah, and as I said, no one reads the script and says, well, that's it. Done the show.
Yeah.
Read every script. Know what happens. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I went 4 seasons with the books being spoilers, and still became a gigantic show.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Even though
true,
everybody knew exactly what was going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, Phil, what do you got for us?
All right, I got movie news. So,
Excellent.
First up, so here's an odd one. So, the initial plan for that Dark Tower movie that came out last week, that wasn't very good, was that it would be set up a TV series that they're hoping to run off it. That would be like a prequel series to the movie. And the movie didn't do well enough for them to do that. However, they've been like polling people at the theaters and asking them if they would watch a series based on the show. And the polls have come back that 83% of the people, whether they like the movie or not,
Well,
would
I
watch the
think,
series.
I mean, as somebody who's read the books, it would work a lot better as a series than as a movie or even a few movies.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
There's a ton of stuff in there.
Yeah, totally. There's like 8 books or something.
7
ridiculous like
books,
that.
yeah.
7 books, yeah.
And based off what you were saying in your review that was up last week, it sounds like they wanted it to be a longer tail kind of thing that ended up being much shorter.
Totally. So apparently it's polling high enough that people would watch it that they're actually considering going forward even though the movie technically bombed, which would be weird. It would be the first time that a sequel is made off of polls as opposed to any sort of financial success.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, quite frankly.
Well, do you think that's, I mean, because we're in that era of TV being equal to movies, just long form, like stuff like Game of Thrones, that, you know, a movie being bad, if anything, is just an indication of how much better it would be.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, that sucks, so a TV show will suck. Be like, well, that was crappy for this reason. If we took it and made it like an 8-episode series, we'd enjoy it more.
It could be, but it just seems like an act of desperation. And also, I feel like it doesn't surprise me that that's true simply because, like, the movie did so poorly. I don't think that, like, anyone was coming that wasn't unfamiliar. I feel like it was just Dark Tower fans that went. So
pretty
of course
much,
they'd
they're
going to
want it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't the, like, general public. But anyway, that was just a weird one. All right, next up. So Disney is pulling all of their content from Netflix to launch their own streaming service.
This is interesting, I think.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it's also just, it makes me wary because I've always felt that this is just what's going to happen.
Yep.
Since all multimedia conglomerates own so many of these companies, that it's just going to be like, there'll be a Warner service.
Well, I mean,
and there'll be a
CBS is
Disney
trying to do
service,
it
and there'll
literally
be-
like just for Star Trek. I mean,
Yeah, totally. And that just really irritates me. And I feel like it's bad for the consumers because we've gone from a period from where, like, all media was so easily accessible for the first time ever to suddenly it's actually going to be a real pain to see anything.
I mean, I think they're kind of moving away from the TV-based model where you have a channel for things to a all you can eat kind of buffet back to a TV-based model. Just you have to subscribe to more things.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was,
and that's a model. That's why everyone moved over to Netflix and other services like that, because why do you want to go around and searching for them?
I mean, also the fact that it becomes prohibitively expensive if you have 10 to 15 different streaming services.
And you pay $10-15 a month for each one, and there was like, it's so much cheaper than cable. Well, it won't be anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so much cheaper when everything was available because no one understood what a gold mine it was. Once everything splits up, then everything's going to be harder to get than it ever was before.
Yeah. Well, then, I mean, what's my concern with it is, if these companies don't work together and they do put it on streaming services, people will find a way to pirate it and say, well, I don't want that one streaming service for that one show.
I'm just going to steal it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
You have to find, like, I think numerous experts in the field say you have to make your content easier than hackers can get it.
Yeah.
If you make it harder than a hacker can just say, okay, I'm just going to download, I pay for the subscription, share it to all my friends, they share it to all their friends.
Yeah.
Certain services are going to suffer.
People are willing to pay, but there's a good middle ground between convenience and like I'm not paying $15 a month for one show.
Exactly, and that I think Disney is one of the ones that can get away with it. It has enough shows.
Even just for their movies, like for people that are babysitting.
Disney
Channel, boom,
exactly. It becomes the Disney Channel. It becomes
Marvel, Star Wars,
all that stuff. I mean, also you have all those. There's a lot of kids shows that we never see.
Yeah.
But Disney has a pile of like properties that are just for like babies or kids under the age of 5. That are on like their like was it Disney Junior? Is that what it's called?
Whatever.
Yeah, they're like young Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Which this is perfect for them. You put it at home, you leave it on. You know that kid stuff's safe for kids. You just leave it there and you're good to go.
Oh yeah.
I think the more effective model, like when you talk about accessibility and finding that middle ground, would be just forming more partnerships. And just amalgamating everything as opposed to like drawing out, like they're expecting everyone to follow them, but they're not taking into account the people that are subscribed to Netflix and services like that, like our demographic who won't be following them for Disney stuff. We'll be going elsewhere, and then that just ends up hurting them audience wise later. But I guess numbers will tell later
Disney
on.
makes sense though. They have a captive family audience.
Disney
have to pay for it.
Disney makes sense, but there's some of these other providers that it's going to really hurt them.
Like all the little cable networks, like you're saying, nobody is going to want to pay for that.
Who pays for the CWs?
Yeah, exactly. Right?
No.
We watch it because it's on.
It's like a lot of these every single network now has its own paid little like app.
Yeah.
And only so many people want to pay for that sort of app. Like there's just not enough good shows in those things.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney can do it. Netflix has become a network in itself. Amazon has done the similar thing to Netflix has. But beyond that, there's just not enough substance to really draw people in.
Yeah.
Although I didn't even realize that Amazon funded Manchester by the Sea.
Oh yeah.
That is super weird to me.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, no, they're doing quite well, and I also wouldn't be surprised because you were saying earlier that Netflix is severely in the red.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they start releasing stuff theatrically.
Yeah.
It would make sense. It's just an added revenue stream for them.
It wouldn't be any more work, right? I mean, like
at this point, no.
Yeah,
now that everything's distributed digitally, it would just be about booking the screens. Now, there's problems there in that a lot of theater owners don't care for Netflix.
Yeah.
And might like refuse to run stuff simply because it's involved with them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if there's money to be made, there's money to be made. I've heard that their like excuse from Netflix before is they feel that like their subscribers are paying for the content, so they should get it instantly and for free. And I feel like, well, they're going to get it anyway. Yeah. Well, like, what's the harm of putting in a theater first?
A day later or a weekend later.
Well, I don't think any theater owners would agree to day and date.
Well, maybe
they have a big problem with that.
Week later. Well, VOD does day and date.
Totally, but those are with smaller independent films?
No, but I have seen some bigger film. Well, medium range films do it.
Yeah.
But usually it's like a foreign film or a British film that's like they release it like a few select theaters and then like on VOD.
Totally, but I feel like if Netflix is starting to make like these big giant movies like that Will Smith one they have coming out, what's the harm in putting that out in theaters? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Certain movies, I mean, like you'll pay to go see a Nolan movie on the big screen.
Exactly. Certain movies you need to see the big screen experience. Then, I liked that. I want to watch it again. You don't have to pay the other $15-20, and you just kind of go, I'm going to watch it on Netflix this time.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I mean, if they give it like a 2-week period, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like they say, okay, it's coming this date on Netflix, but if you want to see it early, go to like these 1,000 screens around North America.
Totally.
I remember mentioning that. I think it was the LA Times that actually did the original story about Netflix being in the red. Apparently, they're only $20 billion in the red.
Yeah,
and that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
because the amount of content they're making, some of it's really good.
Yeah,
some of it just kind of exists.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the first Daredevil series was not great. The second one was good.
Yeah.
Then Jessica Jones was okay.
Yeah.
Luke Cage was okay.
Yeah.
Iron Fist was kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, and they're spending a fortune on stuff, but they're giving comedians like $10, $30 million for a special.
Oh, look at Dave. I mean, Chappelle. Obviously, they probably made that back instantly. But I mean, they gave him like $60 million or something.
That seems insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. They're spending money like water, and no matter what, it's hard to make that all back.
Yeah.
Like I don't care how many subscribers you have, that can become
well,
unsustainable.
and clearly they're not.
No.
Yeah. All right, next up. This is kind of a weird one. So James Cameron was talking about his 4 planned Avatar sequels again, and he said that Stephen Lang, who was the villain in the first one, will be the villain of all 4, which is interesting because he's dead.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the plan is there.
Well, spirits could transfer to another thing.
Well, sure, but like, isn't that going to be a bit boring to have the same guy who's already dead for 3
and
movies?
telling everybody right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like, at least maybe keep it a mystery.
Yeah.
Not being like, don't worry, guaranteed, same guy every movie. Like,
Well, I guess he's gonna transfer into different bodies, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, now he's in a robot body. Oh no, now he's posing as one of the other Na'vi. Oh no, now he's a giant whale. I don't know. I just go crazy with it. At that point, just be dumb.
I don't know, that whole thing.
Just mix the universe of Terminator and this.
Man,
so at one
Cameron's
point,
a busy guy, isn't he? Holy moly.
Just put all your movies together in one.
yeah. So the Terminator sequels are actually mixed with the Avatar sequel, so you're gonna have the T-2000 just walking around.
Well, see, that would get me to go see an Avatar movie if there were Terminators in it.
For no reason.
Or just make the Navi's Terminators. I mean, why
That would
just
explain
go big?
so much. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's really dumb.
All right.
They don't need to exist.
Yeah, and a final thing, which I'm excited about, the Coen brothers is a Netflix story again.
Yep.
They sold a 6-part intertwining Western anthology series to Netflix. I'm very excited about it. I love those guys, and their single sentence announcement for it was, we're streaming now, mother effers.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate.
It's amazing.
I love those guys.
Well, and they do Westerns so well.
They do.
Yeah.
Totally. No, I'm very excited. It's weird to me to think that they're making something that won't ever play theatrically because their stuff works so well on a big screen.
Have they done TV series before?
No.
Oh.
No. The Fargo series isn't them.
No. I thought they had some involvement with it though.
They agreed to let it happen.
Okay. They just said,
And
yeah,
that was
that's
the
a
end
thing that can happen. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then that was the end of that. I'm excited to see what it is, but it is bizarre.
That's
certainly.
really weird.
Yeah.
No. I mean, since I subscribe to Netflix, I'll get to watch it. But yay!
I mean, why not? Like a lot of how many big directors have done something? I know the Wachowskis did Sense8.
Yeah, that was okay.
It worked out well enough for them.
Scorsese has this big gangster movie
Yeah.
that he's making. But other than that, they haven't. Like, filmmakers have been actively...
Who's doing the Will Smith movie?
I forget who directed it, but I know it's a Max Landis.
Oh.
Yeah. That's like the reaction of everyone.
That makes me less excited.
I know.
And then you had the Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah.
Which
are just his
that
buddies.
They're like, yo, let's make movies.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. I feel like, directors have been kind of avoiding that because they, want to keep filmmaking a thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Max Landis.
Well, until I get my Deadwood reunion movie.
Oh, that is happening, isn't it?
Apparently, they keep saying yes.
I'm saying that
we
for
should
so
mention
That's
that.
what I mean,
Ian McShane this week announced that the script has been delivered.
Okay.
Cool.
I heard him say that a while ago, though.
Apparently, he said this week too.
Okay, cool.
I'll believe it when I see it, but I've been looking forward to that for ages. I love that show.
And Ian McShane loves being that character.
Well, how could you not? Al Swearengen's it must be so much fun to play.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was British until I saw a movie after Deadwood, and he's proper theatrically British, and I was like, ugh.
That show he has no accent, does he?
That is, pardon me?
He has no accent.
Well, like an American accent,
a
but
twang.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like neutral, definitely not as hoity-toity as he really sounds.
No.
And he didn't drop an F-bomb once, so
That's weird.
Disappointed with
Yeah,
that.
when in Deadwood, you think everyone that's the only dialogue they have.
That's just how they talked back then.
Okay, so should we take a break, then come back with Phil's movies?
So we're gonna.
Sounds
I really want to
good.
hear your view of that Dark Tower movie.
Oh yeah. Okay, we can talk about that.
Okay, let's take a break.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could get new comics every month, but I'm broke and oddly always $5 short. Lame.
Wait, $5 short, you say? Well, I've got something special for you.
What the hell was that?
It's me, the discount ghost of coupons past. Are you scared?
What the
Use the code CGMEG in all caps, all one word, to get $5 off your next comic bento subscription.
So wait, if I use the code CGMAG all in caps, all one word, I get $5 off my next comic bento?
Yes, use the code CGMEG in all caps, all one word, and get $5 off your next comic bento.
A whole $5, eh? Now that's scary.
The Pixels and Ink podcast is brought to you by Buns, your city network. Buns connects you to the people in your neighborhood to help you find the things you need to fuel your real life. Swap things you already have to get items you need. You can also find jobs that pay the bills, homes for rent, advice, and a place to talk about your city. Buns is available online at buns.com and on your phones via the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
And we're back. Thanks, Buns Podcast Network and Comic Bento. So, Phil, you saw some movies.
Sure did.
Tell us about how was Dark Tower.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that first really quickly. Yeah, I'll do that really fast. In that,
Like the movie itself?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It seemed like it was really short.
Yeah, it was 85 minutes. And that was actually
It's
the best
really
part because
short.
it flew by really quick. It had good ideas, and Idris Elba was really well cast, and Matthew McConaughey was pretty fun, and it had a couple really great action beats. But ultimately, since it's supposed to be this big, vast mythology, I just didn't get the time to really appreciate what the universe was, or especially the main character was a kid who basically had no personality. It was just there because it was faster for him. And yeah, that was just the big problem. It was just so indistinct and
Weird.
Like it was.
I mean, the world of the Dark Tower is supposed to be very distinct.
Oh, for sure. And I didn't really. It just felt like a combination of other previously successful movies and a lot of as many Stephen King references as they could possibly.
Well, I
cram
mean, that's
in.
the books too.
Yeah,
At one point, he's in the books as himself.
Yeah, totally.
So
yeah. So it was, it wasn't horrible. Like it was watchable, but it just felt generic. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's a version of either a script or a cut of the movie that actually had some time to breathe. You get some more of a sense of it. But at the same time, 85 minutes goes by fast.
That is really quick.
Yeah,
that is a short movie.
Yeah, totally. So, and I would like more movies to be 85 minutes, quite frankly. But
Now,
yeah, not that one.
it takes place after the books? Is that correct?
I gather. I haven't read the books.
Well, the
to
whole
be
thing
honest.
about the books is basically at the very end of the last one. Spoiler alert, but whatever. Read the books. I don't care. Is that his journey starts over again? So he's stuck in this perpetual cycle,
A loop,
essentially.
okay.
But he gets an item at the end of the books that he has at the beginning of these movies, which I thought was a neat way of them to basically, they're like, we don't have to do all of that again because, the nature of the tale is cyclical anyway.
Yeah.
So they can start from whatever point they want and be
Yeah.
it's like his 12th time doing it. So
Okay,
this
so-
time it'll go a little bit different.
Because the item helps him out?
Yeah, you'd have to,
It sounds really convoluted and weird.
yeah, it is.
Okay.
But I mean, the gist of it basically is has this big epic journey to the tower, and then the end of the 7th book begins at the first sentence of the first book,
Oh, that's weird.
except he has a little bit something different to help him.
It's like a roguelite if roguelites were a book. series.
Yeah, basically.
All right, that's fair.
And so today you actually it's going up. Yeah, it's going up. Just went up. Yesterday, I should say.
Correct.
Haha. Annabelle. Creation.
Which you also
Yes.
really liked.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't care for that one either. Yeah. So yeah, Annabelle Creation, which is a prequel to a spin-off of the Conjuring series.
Is
The
James-
Conjuring Expanded Universe, I
Exactly,
think.
yeah.
Is James
yeah.
Wan involved?
No.
Okay.
Well, he was a producer, but I mean, I don't know if he actually did anything.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so the first Annabelle movie was supposed to be about how Annabelle became Annabelle.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't. It was just about Annabelle doing stuff. So this time we get to learn about how Annabelle became Annabelle, I guess, in that learned that there was a doll maker and he had a daughter named Annabelle and he made the Annabelle doll on the same day his daughter died. and then you don't really find out more until later on. And the movie jumps ahead like a decade, and inexplicably, the doll maker decides to take in a nun and like 5 orphan girls. They don't really get into why. It's not clear what they're doing there. And then they're told don't go into that daughter's bedroom, and they do. And doll's in there.
Yeah.
And then spooky doll stuff happens. Now, what I will say is that it was directed by David F. Sandberg, who did the Lights Out movie last summer.
Okay,
Also the Lights Out internet shirt. So he's really good at jump scares. So the movie, this is kind of like Ouija 2, which came out last Halloween, which was actually excellent, versus Ouija 1, which was horrible.
Yeah.
They tried to do that trick here and hired someone that knows how to direct a horror movie this time. So the scares are actually effective. Unfortunately, they didn't hire a good writer versus like Mac Flanagan, who did Ouija 2, can write as well, so that went a long way. So it's really well done on a technical level. Yeah. And there are a bunch of good scare scenes in it, but the plot really goes nowhere, and the characters are so indistinct. There are a handful of them. I don't even think they were named. That's awesome. Of the orphan girls, just 2 of them. Yeah. So
Orphan Girl A, Orphan Girl B.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they had names in the credits, but they didn't like. I don't even think they said their name at any point in the movie. They were just kind of there to be fodder. And so like on the level, like, does it have good spooky scares in it? Well, sure. And it did make the audience go like the Conjuring movies do. But it just, at a certain point, gets really boring. Yeah. In that there's nothing to care about, and the origin of the character ends up being really confusing. I didn't quite understand what exactly was going on. And it really felt, particularly in the back half, like they'd reshot a bunch of extra jump scare sequences just to juice things up, because they would just all of a sudden just be cutting between scenes where I was like, how did this character get here, and why is this happening? I mean, this is spooky, but... So, it's kind of a mess, but... If you like that kind of jump scare horror movie, and apparently people do, these Conjuring movies make a fortune.
They do, yeah.
It will work. It's just you'll probably forget it as soon as it's done.
And now they're making spin-offs on all these Conjuring characters. Like the Nun's getting her own movie too, right?
That's right. I'm pretty sure the Nun's getting her own movie.
That sounds pretty dumb.
Yeah. Well, they keep making a fortune. So, yeah, like The Conjuring was the highest-grossing horror film of all time, just in terms of numbers. I mean,
really?
Well, I mean, The Exorcist is overall. I mean, with inflation. Yeah. And video and everything. But theatrically, The Conjuring made the most.
Jeez.
And Conjuring 2 made more than The Conjuring did. And even Annabelle made like $250 million worldwide.
And they probably don't cost a ton to make.
No, right? Annabelle cost $6 million.
Yeah.
$6 million?
$6 million.
Yeah, it's like 6.5
well, no
million.
wonder they're making them.
Well, exactly. They're going to keep cranking them out. And this is better than Annabelle, but still not good. So...
Is this Blumhouse?
I kind of recommend it. No, it was Warner Brothers.
And who did The Conjuring? Were they Warner Brothers too?
Yeah, it was Warner Brothers.
I thought Blumhouse was involved.
Insidious was Blumhouse.
Okay, they all blend together.
Yeah, which they're pretty well done. So.
And that was James Wan.
Yes.
So James Wan was involved in parts, even though it's weird.
No, he was involved in Insidious and The Conjuring. Yeah.
That's why I thought they were the same.
Exactly. Well, they are very similar. So anyway, it was like if it was possible to just like have a cut of just like the 30 minutes of the scare scenes that work the best, that'd actually be really good and worth going to.
Weird TV show.
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, there's all that crap in between that connects it, and that was a bummer. But that being said, I dreaded going to this. Yep. And it was far better than I had any right to be.
That's something.
So there's that. All right, next up, also opening this week is Wind River, which is the directorial debut of Taylor Sheridan, who wrote Sicario and, God, what was his one last year?
Is this one with Hawkeye in it?
Yeah,
I saw
totally.
a preview for it in front of something I saw a while back.
Totally,
it looked pretty good.
Yeah. So he wrote Sicario and he wrote Hell or High Water.
Oh, yeah.
Which were both like sort of like contemporary westerns with a political bent to them, and both quite good. Both directed by really interesting filmmakers. This is the first time him directing, and it's it stars Hawkeye, as you said, as a tracker in a native reserve. But he is a white gentleman.
Oh, yeah, I assume so, yeah.
But he's just the best tracker they got, so he's their tracker.
Well, clearly, yeah.
And it opens with a young woman dying in the snow, running from a mysterious place. He finds her. The FBI comes in to investigate it since it's a murder, so they send
so this is contemporary.
Elizabeth. Yes, they send Elizabeth Olsen. Yes, and it's in Alaska. So they send Elizabeth Olsen. That's her name, right? the good old Olsen that can act. Yes,
Yeah.
Elizabeth. Yeah, who's also an Avenger. And Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there are 2 Avengers on the case, and yeah, they sort of get entwined in the community. Now, it's fairly well done. Taylor Sheridan, as you'd expect, isn't quite as slick as Denis Villeneuve or Mackenzie was on the other two ones, but it does a pretty good job with that. And as a like twisty, sturdy detective noir thing, it works quite well. The like snow-covered location is very evocative and well done. The problem is that it is a movie that like it concludes on a quote about all the missing Native American women that are uninvestigated, and it's very much like invested in trying to present the reserves as being, you know, a horrible forgotten place where these people are treated poorly by the country, that it's in fact theirs, which is very true. However, all the Native American characters are side characters, and it's really about 2 white people saving them. So it's a bit uncomfortable on that level. Now, like, they address that. They get into that. Jeremy Renner has a backstory that explains why he's so good at tracking and they respect him so much. But it's still just, it felt miscalculated. And I mean, that's ultimately, unfortunately, just a result of the reality of filmmaking. There is no native actor who's successful, who is famous enough that they could finance a movie off him.
Same sort of problem that, what was that movie? The Last Samurai had?
Yeah, totally.
The most amazing samurai ever is Tom Cruise.
Exactly. So it's just a reality of financing that made it happen. But it's a shame because, like, if it could have been a really interesting movie had they been able to get a native actor in the Jeremy Renner part. It would have been a far worse movie had he just pretended to be native.
I was going to say, at least they avoided
so
that.
There's that.
Right?
Yeah, so there's that. But
just a little toned down.
Yeah, totally. But it's still, it's just hard to, like, I couldn't stop thinking about that the whole time. And that, so it's a shame because it is good. It's well done. And the native characters are actually quite well written, and there are some really great performances from them, and it does have interesting things to say. It's just a stupid way of doing it.
Yeah.
And particularly in this day and age. So, so that's okay. If you can get past that, if you're colorblind, as the kids say. And then the next one is called Good Time, which is a movie with Robert Pattinson from Twilight.
He's actually good actors. I don't mind.
I know, right? So this is like one of those night where everything goes wrong crime movies, like After Hours or some forth. So he plays the brother of. He plays a sort of New York low life. His brother has special needs. In the first scene, his special needs brother's being like interviewed to be taken into an institution. He breaks him out because he doesn't want a brother to go to an institution. He says it's better if I take care of him, and then he promptly takes brother to rob a bank, and the special needs brother gets arrested and ends up in jail.
Which I could never see that happening.
I know. Very poor decision making. So the movie is about so from that point on, the movie's like it's set in a single night with Robert Pattinson running around New York trying to gather enough money to bail his brother out of jail, making increasingly worse decisions as it goes on. It's very frantic and hectic and very intense. Robert Pattinson it's probably the best performance I've seen him do. He does a really good job of being, doing a big New York accent and being jittery and all over the place. There was also no time when I wasn't unaware it was Robert Pattinson. Everyone around him were mostly like no-name actors, so that was a bit distracting. But much like we talked about with Quinn, whenever you got to have a movie star to get these sort of things done, and at least he, at least he was able to disappear into the role and did a good job with it. There's some like really weird supporting characters that hit up, like Jennifer Jason Leigh plays this like middle-aged woman who still lives with her mother and acts like a teenager and like has to bargain with her mother to get out. And Robert Pattinson's been using her as basically like a human ATM. That's very. There's a great switcheroo that I won't give away, where he ends up with someone who isn't who he thinks he is, and it just does a really good job of constantly escalating tension. Has a really nice like gritty style to it, but also has a kind of heightened comedic style to it. And the brothers that made it, who are Benny and Josh Savdi, one of whom actually plays the special needs brother of Robert Pattinson, did for I think it's their second or third film, the first one that actually like had a budget, and I'm really impressed by it, and I think it works really well for this specific style of movie.
Is this a wide release movie or is it kind of more indie?
It's indie, but I think it's like they're pushing it fairly wide.
Okay.
As far as those things go.
Nice.
And yeah, I really recommend it if you like those kind of jittery, paranoid, bad night movies. I think there's a lot going on here. Some really, really good dialogue and interesting characters and a lot of horrible decision making. And Robert Pattinson was the least annoying I've ever seen him, which goes a long way.
I mean, he was pretty good in that. What was that Cronenberg movie?
Which one?
The one about, what was it called? One about corporations, whatever.
Oh, Cosmopolis?
Yeah.
He did that, and I feel like he did another Cronenberg movie.
Oh, Cosmopolis I was so hyped for, and it was like two-thirds of the way through, and I was totally tuned out. And I was like, I didn't
enjoy watching it. I just thought he did a good job in the
role.
role.
Yeah.
But I thought, that movie looked cool as hell, and then I watched it, and I was just, I don't know, maybe I was just in the wrong state of mind for it.
It was just too hard to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But anyway, this is the best thing I've seen him do. So if you're a big Twihard fan, then go for it. Or even if you're not.
I do love that Twilight.
I know you do. I know you do.
It's all sorts of posters by your desk.
Yeah, clearly,
listeners can't see, but they're there.
The creepiest thing is that signed, autographed picture of Robert Pattinson.
What I do.
There, that you kiss every day that you come in and hug it before you leave.
Well, how else will he know I love him?
Alrighty, so what games have everyone been playing? Anybody?
I've been playing Masquerada on
you have.
PS4. It was okay. I mean, it's a small studio.
Yeah.
And the thing that I both was most impressed by, but at the same time really didn't like, was like the Venetian steampunky kind of setting. I thought it was really cool that they broke away from the traditional Western fantasy, like swords and sorcery trappings that so many games like that fall into. But at the same time, it's hard to really make a character feel badass when they're wearing like puffy pants and a ruffled collar and like a sequined masquerade mask. But yeah, it's a decent little game. But the whole time I was playing it, I kept thinking how much more fun it would have been if it was Star Wars.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of Old Republic in that it's like real time, but you can pause and kind of queue up attacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it
it's the one that plays a lot like Transistor, right?
I've never played Transistor, so I don't know. But it looks... Yeah. It's got a similar aesthetic anyway.
Now, does this game have branching paths, or is it just a linear story?
Oh, no, it's linear as hell.
Okay.
And there's not... Like, I'm big on... I like stat whoring and min-maxing and finding cool items and stuff, and that game has none of that.
Really?
Like, there's no weapons or anything outside. You can get different masks, which affect your abilities. There's nothing really for side quests or NPCs. There's a lot lacking, but again, it's a small studio, and they made a specific story that they want to do, and it was all voice acted, which is pretty cool.
Okay. I think when I saw it a few years ago, it didn't have any voice acting.
Not at the time they were talking about, because I saw it too.
Well, they could have just as easily just made it text only, like so many other CRPGs are. So I was impressed that they managed to do it, and it was pretty decent.
Okay.
It was really colorful. It was nice, but it was so bright.
Right.
That, after an hour or two of playing it, I had to switch to something else. It's a nice break from, like, the browns and grays of all the other games that I enjoy, but it was just too bright, too clean. But otherwise, fun, cool little game from a first-time studio, so good for them.
How long is the game?
Oh, I don't know. You could finish it under 10 hours.
Really?
Sure.
Okay. Well, it's pretty short for a CRPG, then.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I liked what I played when I saw it, but I saw it like 2 years ago, so I'm anxious to pick it up now that you did your review. Phil, you play anything?
Yeah, sure. I played a Back to the Future card game.
Oh yeah, how'd you like that?
Yeah. So it took me a while to review it because the instruction manual was written in the most confusing way possible, where you had to keep going back and forth, and I thought it was a board game, but there was no board. It was a card game. Okay. And I won't even try to... I eventually had to get YouTube tutorials. I watched a 25-minute YouTube tutorial in about 18 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay. I finally understand. So I won't bother trying to explain it. But basically, it's all sort of... it's based around collecting timelines. Okay. So you have sort of... And using the characters to do so. So you have... 1955, 1985, and 2015. Not 1885, so that they can make an expansion.
Oh,
clever.
Right. So there's a complicated like payment system and ways you need to fill up the flux capacitor to go back and forth. But essentially, what involves is you have events involving either George McFly, Elaine McFly, Marty McFly, or Doc Brown, or Biff. And you have
play
to
as Biff?
Yeah, and you have to like put them in each timeline. But then if you put them in one timeline, then you have to pay like for screwing up the timeline. Or and each character has its own power. So if it's Biff, you can just steal a card from someone.
Oh, okay.
There's different cards. Totally. Yeah. Right. So it's tricky to explain, but once you get the hang of it, I found it actually worked really well. And it did reflect the movies and sort of the stuff. It reflected purely the extremely anal time travel timeline issues of the movie. So if you find that stuff confusing, this is absolutely not for you because that's the entire focus. But if you're into that, I actually once I got the hang of it, found it quite satisfying and quite interesting. And it seemed like the sort of thing that as you play more of, it would get more and more interesting, especially with larger groups of people. But of course, if you did that, you have to explain the rules to them, and good luck with that. But beyond that, I found that the art style was really good. I guess it's sort of inspired by a comic book that IDW is also publishing. So they did a really lovely job of recreating all the classic locations and characters as close to possible without stepping into any likeness rights issues. And yeah, for a licensed game like this, like normally these are just tossed off. This was clearly very carefully thought out and actually felt unique and felt like it suited the property.
So would it be a game you'd go back to?
Totally. Now that I know how to play it finally. And yeah, I was actually quite impressed by how it all came together.
How long do games take with it?
I'd say
once you learn the 20...
Once you get the rules, I think probably like the 30, 40 minutes, something like that.
Oh, so it's a quick game.
They're pretty quick, but it's done it, but it's set up in such a way that there's so many different variables. It would be almost impossible to predict how each game would turn out.
Oh, really?
You never have the same game twice, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
For sure. So I was surprised how well it worked.
Now, if you didn't like you don't know anything about Back to the Future, does there anything here for you or no?
Well, I mean, if you like time traveling stuff, it would probably still be fun, but you'd just be confused as to who everyone is and why everything's based around Biff and whatever.
But also, I mean, who hasn't seen Back to the Future at this point?
It's kind of an iconic franchise.
Yeah, I don't think they designed this hoping to get a new audience. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it's
need to get that iPad generation in on it.
They've never seen the movie, but we'll get them in with this.
Finally get them with that.
This complicated card game that'll get the kids interested.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, no, it was. I was quite pleased. There was definitely a point when I was like reading the instruction book for like the third or fourth time, and I was like, "This is horrible. I'm not even going to play this." But once I got it,
so once you figured it out,
it's quite good.
Awesome,
quite good.
What does it cost? It's like $50.
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah.
Actually, you can find that out next week when Phil's review goes live.
Exactly.
On cgmagonline.com.
Yeah.
And you can also check out Quinn's review of Masquerada. I think that one up this week.
This week,
it went up a day or a couple days ago or something.
So check that one out because it's a really good read. Since we're talking board games, Brendan, you had an opportunity to play The Godfather with Sean Brandt, who did the review for that one.
I did.
Yeah,
Why don't you talk about that one?
Again, another one of these things where the rule book makes it seem far more confusing than the actual game is.
Yeah.
Like the actual game is basically you take turns being the Don, and so each person has a set of dice, and the dice are basically your cards or how you do everything.
Okay.
So you have a map of territory, and you basically try to buy up territories, put your men in there, and kind of like secure as much of the city as possible.
Okay.
And using the most muscle, the more muscle you have, whoever has the most muscle each round becomes the Don, and whoever runs, as soon as you run out of people, the game ends. So as soon as one person runs out of people, the game ends. And it's really interesting to see how, because each location, each like borough of New York or whatever, will give you a different amount of points, and the overall points at the end determine how much like overall prosperity you have and who wins.
Right.
So you could look at a board and like, I don't think I have anything here, but you might be the second place in like 4 territories, but not be the first anywhere, and you could still win.
Right.
But the actual game only takes like 35 minutes or 40 minutes to play, and we had a game go for like 15 minutes, and it ended.
Oh wow!
Just based on the fact that it's all based on dice you get, the dice rolls, and what you can buy with those dice rolls.
Right.
So basically each territory will say, we need you to spend 2 6s to get this spot, or 1 6 and 1 number up to this to get this spot, or 1 2 3 to get this spot.
So if you hit all the right dice, just by the odds, it'll... Okay.
But also, if you, let's say, so the Dawn will go around,
But doesn't each family have a thing too?
Not exactly. How it works is whoever's the Dawn, you basically get to steal so every other player gives you a tribute, and the tribute is one of your dice.
Right.
So so the Dawn, whoever's turn it is that's the Dawn, will say, okay, give me your tributes,
Yeah.
and you as the players get to put out a dice from your roll
Yeah.
to offer to the Dawn. So usually it's one you don't want to. It's one like, oh, this isn't going to help me this round, so I'm going to give it to the Dawn because who cares? So the Dawn that round will then get a lot of dice. So if you're playing with 5 players, the Dawn will get 4 extra dice for his turn.
Cool.
If you do that, whatever dice you give has a corresponding like favor on the board. So one of the favor might be you can re-roll one of your dice. One of the favors might be you double one of your dice. So you say I have a 6. This is now 2 6s because of this favor.
Yeah.
Another one will be like you can change your dice roll to anything you want. So there's a lot of don't want to give them a horrible dice roll because that means you get a horrible one selection from the favors. But you also don't want to give them a dice that might actually help you in the game. So it's kind of a give and take, and it's kind of playing with the different elements of the game to try to figure out the best way to kind of win with the different board and trying to trick every other player and use muscle to kind of push every other player out. But in the end, it's basically just a dice game with a board. It's really neat how it all works, but the rule book makes it seem far more complex than it actually is. Well, like you could teach someone this game in 5-10 minutes.
Right.
I know Sean was kind of complaining in his review that it wasn't very Godfather-esque. It was just like literally like a skin on a dice game.
Yeah. Like I mean, there's like you have the favors and stuff like that, but beyond that, it just kind of they could have called it New York Fun Time, and it would have just been
right.
Like, I kind of want to play a game called New York Fun Time,
where everyone's just giving like flowers to their favorite flower shop or something like that, and it would have been basically the same game.
That's what they do in New York to have fun.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like my point is, it could literally been anything, and it wouldn't have changed the overall game.
Gotcha. That's what I liked about the Back to the Future one.
I was gonna say like your review said. You reviewed it, didn't you? Yeah. That it was like they took good use of the property. It wasn't just like them slapping stickers on cards kind of thing.
Like I don't think you'd even be able to play it if it weren't Back to the Future.
Yeah, this is the way the game
that to grip to it.
Yeah, okay.
Totally.
I mean, like it's different ways to take a licensed property. One is, hey, we don't know if this game's going to sell.
Yeah.
Let's put a Godfather.
It's called the Godfather and try.
And now it's now it has a property you can latch onto. It might be a good concept.
Yeah.
But that property doesn't actually add anything to it. Whereas it seems like the Back to the Future game has made a new game that needs that property to really function.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think IDW has already done another Godfather game. It's more of a card game. Now, I haven't played that one. I feel like that is more in the same.
It might be a
vein
similar kind of
as the Back to the Future sort of thing. It's more scenario based.
Yeah.
But you said it was fun, so
it was fun. Yeah.
Had to try it out.
Any other? Have you been playing anything? Or no?
You know what? Nothing I can really talk about because I've only played I played Yonder recently, but I played about 10 minutes of it, and from the 10 minutes I played, it seems really pretty. It seems really cool.
Yeah.
It seems a lot like Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
But there's more to it, I understand, as I get in that deeper than 10 minutes. So I'll talk about that next week because maybe I'll have a chance to sit down and play that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else? Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. And if you like what you hear or you want to hear more about the things that we talked about, visit us at cgmagonline.com or follow us on Twitter at cgmagonline. Who wants to plug their Twitter? Mr. Fry?
BFry26.
And Quinn does not have Twitter still.
I think he actually does have one. I just don't think he uses it.
Okay.
No. It's they tried to make me learn in school, but I was too much of a rebel. Plus now I'm like, okay, it's way too late.
Yeah, no one
plug your MySpace then.
My MySpace account.
Yes.
My Angel Fire webpage.
Yes. And Phil?
I'm at that Phil Brown.
And I don't use my Twitter either, but I'm going to plug it. It's at Lisa Awesome.
After all that criticism.
I know. I'm sorry.
And by the way, I just noticed that Netflix Canada just raised their subscription rate.
$2 or $1?
Really?
$2 for new subscribers, $1 for all the previous.
Oh,
that's not bad. Whatever.
But every single year, it reaches a point when it's no longer economical to do it. Because Netflix doesn't really have all that much on it.
No.
I spend more time like searching, but I mean, I think I've watched Archer enough over and over again to warrant the amount of money that Netflix charges.
Like, I mean, it's fine. It's just I'm noticing there's less and less new things on there. It's just basically a lot of their programming.
Oh, for sure. They're taking stuff off all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about that, though. I'm finding a lot of stuff I actually like.
Yeah.
Fewer and fewer lately, though. That's
that's
a discussion for another
It's just
day,
a different service than it launched. It launches this thing where you can get any movie you want, and now it's kind of like we have original shows and some extra filler content.
Yeah.
And bad horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, back to where you can find us.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
No problem.
You can find us on Facebook at CG Magazine, on Instagram at CG Mag Online. Thanks again, Buttons Podcast Network and Comic Bento for sponsoring the podcast. From everyone here at CG Magazine, have a great weekend.
See you next week.
Whoa.